Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of London Clubs Carnage. Now, listen, I know some of you have been saying, why are you whispering in some of your videos? Well, usually it's because I'm recording at AM time and I can't be waking people up. But I'll try to arrange, times where I can record a little bit more in the daytime. But listen, let's get straight into this episode. Back with the casting crew. Double Dan, double trouble. Potts, let's start with you. How you doing, bro? I'm sure you're feeling lively and energetic after an absolute smash and grab against us in the friendly cup. I don't even know what it's called. I don't know. Who knows?
No, I'm very good, man. I'm very good, and I don't take pre-season too seriously and go over the top. But I've got to say that was a really nice game to watch for me, man. I say watch. I didn't actually watch it live. Obviously, I was catching some Z's, but I did see the highlights, and it was just all Arsenal. So I was pleased, man. And I'm sure we'll get into it. Pre-season doesn't mean much, but to be fair, I've seen much worse. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they're going to be going at you now, calling you a fake Arsenal fan. You didn't stay up until 2 a.m. in the morning to watch a game, pre-season game. Man. So important. What's wrong with you? What's going on?
Man, it's one of those, isn't it? It's like I stayed up for one of them doing the watch along AFTV, and it ruined the next of my day because I was just asleep for the most of it. So I thought, you know what? As much as I'd love to see Arsenal, I don't really think it's that important to be staying up that late and ruining your rest day the day after. So I was like, you know what? Let's just watch the highlights, man. But listen, fair play to those that did watch it. Fair play.
Nothing but regret on my side for staying up and watching all of our games. To be honest,
I watched it.
It's worth it. You watched it. Of course you did.
I couldn't sleep. And I needed someone to dunk.
Did you enjoy it, Tobs?
I didn't enjoy it because
say it. We look good.
What I failed to acknowledge at the time was, in order for me to dunk on someone, that means the other team that I hate would have had to have done well. So I can dunk on Matisse now, but then it means that I have to give Arsenal credit for how they played. But then I also have to do a Dan Potts and also do a me, and remember, it's only fucking pre-season. Who cares? Who cares? Man United stuffed Liverpool 4-0, and some of their fans were thinking that they've turned the corner. It's just pre-season, ain't that deep.
It's true. It's very true. But at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, it does sting more on my side because I'm watching poor performance after poor performance, and I'm thinking, is this really all gonna change suddenly against Everton? I'm not so sure. But listen, Lawless, bro, how are you doing? Obviously, Scamacca, here we go, confirmed by Fabrizio. You seem happy, you seem chuffed. That West Ham Paul is flexing his muscles now. Let's see.
Listen, the Moyes knock is a different knock, yeah? That's what I see someone tweet out there. I was like, I got to retweet that. Yeah, after 4 years or something since we signed a Jetty under Pellegrini, we have finally signed a striker. Unbelievable. 18 months after Haller was sold. This is a great day to be a West Ham fan. Operating wingers as strikers. Now we have signed a proper striker who's highly rated. Yes, Tobes, I said it. Highly rated. Yeah, mate, I can't wait to see him holding the shirt. And then we'll move up. Probably need another striker. We are looking at another striker, by the way. That is confirmed. So don't get comfortable, Matisse. That's all I'm going to say.
I will get comfortable because you say you're looking for another striker, but surely, when you sign 23-year-old Scamacca and you only play one up front, from what I'm aware of, you only play one up front. Why would now 20-year-old Broja want to go and compete with 23-year-old Scamacca? What is really the point? It doesn't really make any sense. So
may as well just stay at Chelsea.
Exactly. I mean, did you see our strike force?
May as well just stay at Chelsea.
I think he might look at us and go, do you know what? That's my best chance at European football for the future because Chelsea, boy.
Oh, really? You're going to take it there, yeah? Is that how confident you're feeling? Wow. This guy gets a Scamacca line. 36 million euros, fair enough. Plus 6 million add-ons, 10% sell-on clause to Sassuolo. Obviously, he was linked with PSG.
Sassuolo, not Sassuolo.
Sorry.
See, he's also linked with Arsenal, because I've seen the compilation videos Arsenal fans have made on him on YouTube. I was watching those, thanks Arsenal fans. So he's linked with a few clubs. So, I'm just saying, it's the Todd era now, of Chelsea. So, I'm not liking what I'm seeing from Chelsea. So maybe he might look and go, do you know what? Let me jump off the Titanic before it hits the iceberg. Yeah. Let me get that live for after that is West Ham. And
Last,
move on to
last time I checked, I think we signed Raheem Sterling and Koulibaly. I think you need to slow your roll slightly. I'm not gonna lie. But you have started Scamacca, 16 goals in 36 games. How much have you seen of this player? What did you tell me about him? Do tell.
Look, I'm not someone who I have to say I do have a life. So I don't watch every league going. You know, I don't sit there and go, "Oh, what's Serie A doing tonight?" Like, yeah, like if Prem's not on, I'm gonna go right. What productive other things can I do in my life other than watch football? However, you know, when I see I'm linked with a player, I do my research. That's when it comes into it. And yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Look, you'd never know. Like I've got hyped off of signings over and over again. Like I was so buzzed off of Haller, and that just didn't work out. So I can never fully get carried away. But the reason why I'm a bit more optimistic about this signing is this is like the new era West Ham. This is like David Moyes. He's been pretty good with signings. We've got Rob Newman in from Man City, who's our like chief scout. He's going out there finding these players. Moyes is signing off on them. So to me, this has to be like they've really done their due diligence. They've taken their time. Like Rob Newman come in sort of just after the transfer window in August last year. So it's been nearly a year. He's had all this time to find the right profile of striker. Again, Scamacca's highly rated, but also not just looking at, okay, people seem to like this guy, but is he going to fit West Ham? And he has to. He has to be a fit. From what I've seen of some of his attributes, he does, but we need to make other changes for him to really work. I see he likes to shoot from outside the area. The problem is our counter-attack is so slow sometimes, or our build-up is so slow where the opposition has like every player in the flipping. Every time we try and do it, our shots get blocked because every player's in the box. So I need to see some other changes and other players come in and some more pace injected for me to really feel like, yeah, he's going to be lethal. Kostic could be the answer, but you know, with some of his delivery and things like that. But yeah, I feel like I'm giving Moyes and Newman the benefit of doubt with their signings. That okay, these signings you're making are the signings that West Ham need, because if these signings flop, I'm not hearing like if Scamacca flops, I'm blaming the manager and I'm blaming Newman, because I'm not hearing like sometimes signings don't work out. No, you've had a long time to get this right, and there's no excuses. So that's why I'm feeling optimistic. I'm allowing myself to be optimistic with this. I'm allowing myself to enjoy this. And if it goes wrong, then boy, on their heads be it. And I will come out and I will lambast them like they rightfully would deserve. So yeah, he seems a good profile of player though. He seems like he'll suit West Ham. That's what I'm gonna say.
Tobes, what's any opinion on this signing? Obviously, we saw last season how overrun they were with Antonio. Like this was a must that they brought in a forward. So it's good from that standpoint.
Yeah, this looks a good signing for West Ham. It looks a sensible signing, more than a good signing. I do have a life as well, but I also like to educate myself more so than Lawless, and I do actually watch Serie A. They're on BT Sports, so it's actually quite easy to watch some of their fixtures. I'm not going to sit here and say I've watched loads of games with Sassuolo.
How you got time when you're watching reruns of Game of Thrones every night? Like, I don't understand.
I don't watch reruns of Game of Thrones every night. I do it in bulk episodes, basically. So anyway, the point I'm making is I'll tune into Sassuolo when I've got money on them or when they're playing one of the bigger sides, because I normally expect them to sort of get a result against some of the better sides when teams are going away to Sassuolo, because they've got a couple decent players. It wasn't just Scamacca; they got Berardi as well. And before he signed for Atalanta, they had a former academy player as well.
Yeah,
Bogger, Jeremy Bogger, not Broya.
Oh, you're really on the correcting thing today, aren't you? How do you spell Rafinha?
But anyway, but yeah, so like I've seen like very, very little Scamacca, but like Lawless said, he's got a rasping shot on him, and furthermore, he looks like he can score goals. Like he looks like he can actually be relied upon to sort of carry the goal the goal scoring burden. I'll be interested to see about like the other aspects of his game, because from what I've heard, he's meant to be a decent all-rounder. Like he can be a decent enough facilitator. And I'm not saying that to say that West Ham are going to play lumpet football. I'm saying that to say that I feel like he potentially could help West Ham transition towards the way they would like to play under David Moyes, more of a possession-based style of football, because I feel like with the ball at his feet, he's actually decent as well. So, yeah, let's see. He's a good age as well, and I think he'll get the backing, he'll get ample game time. So we'll see what's what. We'll see if he can actually cut it in this league, because I think last season is the first time he's hit over 15 league goals. So it's not exactly a crazy amount, but
Serie A, it's a different. And playing at small teams in Serie A against some decent defenses, like you're not expecting him to be like 30 goals a season and overrunning it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm not. Listen, I'm not trying to shit on him. I'm just saying that like his goal tally for me does not look like an elite goal scorer's tally, but he's not an elite goal scorer. He's a young, good striker who has the capacity to improve. And we just
wait till Kevin Nolan gets his hands on him. That's gonna take him to the next level goal scoring.
You're not Lawless. Maybe I should rephrase. I'm not shitting on Scamacca. I just want to see.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. All I'm saying is, I think, like you said, he's young. So when he comes to West Ham, someone like Kevin Nolan, who's helped Bowen's game and helped Bowen's goal scoring, I think could help with Scamacca. And there is room for development. I don't expect him to come in, and I think I said this in the group chat, I don't expect him to come in and just fly off the bat. I'm going to give him that time to adapt, that time to have that development. But if he takes some pressure off Antonio, takes minutes off Antonio, and can chip in with the goals too, whether it's, I'm not expecting 20 goals off the bat this season. If he can hit double figures in his first season, adapting all of that, that's good stuff. It's so weird because preseason doesn't mean anything, but it's hard to ignore certain things. And Antonio, I'm not liking what I'm seeing from him in preseason, and missing one-on-ones and all of this stuff. And it's hard to ignore it. You want to say it's just preseason, but I'm worried about him. So we might need some Scamacca to step up more this season.
I think that's what Scamacca is going to bring over Antonio. Because listen, Antonio has served West Ham well, but Antonio, for all intensive purposes, I still don't look at him as a number 9. He's not really a striker for me. I know he can play that role, but Scamacca is a striker. Scamacca is a better finisher. I feel like if you give Scamacca the amount of chances that Antonio gets in the game, I think Scamacca puts away more chances than Antonio. So I think furthermore, that's the one thing that West Ham have missed. They've missed someone who can actually come into this team and get double figures playing centrally. Did Antonio get double figures last season? I don't think he did he?
He did. He did get double figures.
In all comps, surely in all comps.
No, not in all comps. In the league. I'm talking in the league.
I have to check, but I think because he had that super purple patch at the start of the season, and then sort of tapered off. Then got a couple of goals here and there, so he might have got 10.
Yeah, he got 10. He got 10.
Yeah, he got 10.
That's what I was thinking. 10.
He got 10, but he played what? He played
36 games.
36. So what I'm saying is West Ham ideally want to get someone who can get nearer to 1 and 2 as opposed to 1 and 3.
100%.
That's even close. That's even close to 1 and 4.
Yeah,
so at the very least, if West Ham can get between a 1 and 2 to 1 and 3 goal scoring rate from Scamacca, I would consider that a pretty decent first season.
Considering he's young as well, he's going to take time to develop. Maybe
in fact, I'll consider that a good season. I'll consider that a good season for Scamacca.
Yeah,
I want to see the other parts of his game because, as I said, I don't really know much on him. So I want to see what is he actually about, because he is highly rated in Italy. You're right. So what's he about?
Last week, Dan did say that he would prefer Broyo. I just want to make that very clear.
We still might get Broyo. We still might get. We're still looking for one, because the thing is, you know, we don't know what Chelsea's going to do at the end of the day. If Chelsea go out and splash big and find the striker that they're looking for, maybe then, you know, then that need to just hold on to Broja might, you know, go, and they might go, yeah, okay, we'll take 30 mil, like from West Ham. Like, so the window, if we are going to go for Broja, or we do get him, it will be like end of the window stuff. Yeah. It'll be fully end of the window stuff. So, I mean, that would be dream territory. Like, two of these, like, that's like future wise there. And if we're trying to compete on several fronts, then, you know, that's what you want to do. And it seems like Moyes is trying to build to have a plan B. Like, that's what we haven't had, a plan B. That's why he's looking at Kostic, because he can play left wing, but he can also play left wing back. And I've seen that we've started to play a bit around with a 5 at the back system in pre-season now. So yeah, it seems to be.
Do you think you'll get Kostic though? Because he's playing Champions League next season with Frankfurt.
Well, everything's agreed. It's literally just down to his decision. So if we can convince him, because I know he's got one year left. Look, he needs to look at Frankfurt have got Champions League football. How far they'll get, you know, it's debatable. Will they get it out of the group stages? You know, round 16 is probably like the max they can hope for. So he might look and say, okay, so do I have this sort of like short run in the Champions League, which is that's hard to turn down for sure. But he might look at and go, okay, because I can play the Premier League. This team's looking to pay me well, have ambitions of Europe and all of that stuff. Maybe I'll take that project there. So it's how well that Moyes and Newman can convince him of the project. So it's a tough one. It can go either way. I'm sort of leaning to maybe he might turn it down because he's comfortable. He's at Frankfurt, and in plus, if he waits until his contract runs out, then it gives him, you know, he can wait till like Nottingham Forest pay him $200,000 a week or something. You know, he can do one of them.
Is that a shot? Is that a shot at Jesse?
Shots fired. Listen, it's true. Like, but they might do. But yeah, like, that's the thing. So I think that's why the odds aren't in our favour, but we need an alternative. We have to have an alternative. But yeah, I like the idea of having a plan B. We didn't have it, but I don't want our plan A to be the 5 at the back. I want that to be our plan B. And then maybe another plan, like plan C, maybe we want to go 2 up front. The big problem I have, right, is when you look at a lot of teams, you know, like say even Arsenal, for instance, right? And I know, like, you're not happy with your attacking options and stuff, Dan. But I look at last season, right? And some of the players you'll have, like, you'll get to the end of the game and you can throw on, like, oh, let's just throw Nketiah up top as well, and let's just throw all these attackers on. Even though the attackers aren't quality, you start to throw them bodies up, them attacking money. But when you're chasing the game, we need that. We haven't had that where, you know, oh shit, we really need a goal. We need to chase this game. Let's throw an extra like striker or an extra attacker on. We haven't had that. So we need. That's why I think we need those numbers up front. So if we did have an extra striker, that would help us out. But we need the creativity as well. So that's why.
Does it have to be an out and out number 9 though? Can't you just, in addition to Scamacca, why don't you go for like a forward? I thought you lot wanted to sign the likes of Emmanuel Dennis. Like, he looks like he can play multiple positions.
Yeah, I would love
I agree.
Dennis.
I think personally now, unless you're gonna go 4-4-2, I don't think Bro is coming. Like, I really don't, Dan. And I know you want him, and I would want him too if I was West Ham. Bro is not going to come to West Ham to try and compete for a place with Scamacca. He's just going to stay at Chelsea and compete for his place. So I don't know why that would be a wise move for him now. If he was like Scamacca, no, we don't really think we're going to get him, we're going all out for Broa, then I think you'd be in the same position now with Scamacca. You wouldn't get Scamacca. I don't see both of them coming to West Ham, unless, of course, you're going to offer them first-team football by playing Rice and Souček and Antonio and Bowen either side of Scamacca and Broa. I don't know. Maybe you're going to go 4-4-2, but where does that leave the other players that you've got in the team? I don't know. I just feel like, personally, you're probably going to stick to your position of what Moyes has found works or thinks it works, and I'll be amazed if Broa goes there now. I could be wrong. He could go there and go for it, and, you know, you've got a squad, but I'd be very surprised now if Broa was to look at Chelsea and go, I'd rather go and sit on the bench at West Ham than sit here at Chelsea at the bench.
We definitely need someone like, I'm just thinking like, Antonio probably hasn't got long left, right, at West Ham. like years-wise. This season, maybe a season after that, like age-wise, you're just looking at it. We're going to eventually need to go and get another striker. Like, you can't just have Scamacca. Scamacca
Yeah, but do you think it's wise for you to get a 23-year-old who's not from this country, who's going to need time to adapt, and then go and get a 20-year-old who didn't really light it up at Southampton, got 6 goals? You think it's wise to go down that route, or should you not get an experienced striker to replace Antonio that's Premier League proven?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a case of who are those strikers? Like, really, like, where are they in terms of like the Premier League proven experienced strikers? Like, I don't want to touch Batshuayi with a barge pole.
What about like a Danny Ings?
I would, but the problem is, I've always liked Danny Ings. He's too injury prone. Like, I don't want to go near any injury prone players. But like, you're right. Someone of that profile.
He's not exactly like set the world alight at Aston Villa as well. And I like Danny Ings as well, but 30-year-old Danny Ings now that Aston Villa paid 20 million for last summer.
I don't think you should go near
that. But as an option for the bench, like I feel like as a bench option of like, okay, Scamacca's he's starting. Right, we need to throw either another striker on, or Scamacca's not doing it. Let's switch to plan B. Let's throw Ings on for a different set of legs.
But that's what I'm saying.
Is someone like Ivan Toney out of their reach? Would you say, Tobes? Is that like
West Ham's? I don't think he is. I don't think he is out of their.
Shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't be.
I don't think he is out of their reach. But the amount he will cost. Why would West Ham want to pay that for someone who's only going to compete with Scamacca when they've just invested 42 million euros?
That's what I mean. I'm not so sure.
Ivan Toney will cost more than they've paid for Scamacca. He will.
Yeah. That's the question. It's looking at who's available.
Broja's not going to be cheap. You know, I don't think you're going to get Broja for any less than maybe 35 million pounds.
That's cheaper than Toney.
Yeah, it's cheaper, but it's not cheap to have someone that just, again, why would he move from our bench to yours as well? It doesn't really make sense.
To me though, it seems like he was our first choice and he was Moyes' first choice. So I feel like, say Moyes got him this summer, I feel like Moyes would really give him a lot of game time and really put a lot into him. He really seems to really like Broja. So there's that aspect. So it's an interesting conundrum that we're in, but we definitely need to focus on I think as much as I do want Broja, we need that creativity. We need to add that into our game, which is I think why we're looking at the guy from Napoli. Actually, I think he's just rejected us anyway, so it's not even any point. I think he wants to stay at Napoli, play in the Champions League. What's his name? Polish player.
Zielinski.
Yes, Zielinski.
You thought you could get Zielinski?
I knew Toby's reaction was going to be hilarious.
So did I.
He's a good player as well.
Yeah, we've been negotiating that deal, so what's wrong with that?
Why the fuck would he come to West Ham?
What do you mean? Why the fuck would he come to West Ham?
Why would he come to West Ham? What can you offer him that he can't get in Napoli?
Premier League football, the biggest league in the world, mate.
Yeah, but he's playing for a team that are routinely probably finishing in the top 4 in Italy, and he's playing in the Premier European competition. So again, I have to reiterate, why do you think that Premier League trumps that?
So why would Lingard go to Nottingham Forest over West Ham?
Paying more money.
For money.
Yeah. So why is that not a viable option?
Because Lingard wasn't playing at Manchester.
Because Lingard was a free agent.
Lingard
is a free agent, bro. We're talking about a guy who's already playing for one of the better teams in Italy. Why would he go to West Ham?
But we could pay him a lot more than Napoli.
But he could easily get a better move than West Ham.
Well, no. Well, where are these teams that are offering him? They're going for him.
He could. I think he could. If he wanted to, he could get a better move than West Ham.
We're knocking on the door. Like, we're here knocking on the door, going, boom, like, come over.
And he's gonna say no. And he's gonna
camera angle that you're doing this.
He's gonna say no.
We're knocking on the door, like, hey.
He's talking about West Ham as if they're Chelsea or something. I don't understand.
Listen, we made the offer, yeah. Whether it gets accepted or not, yeah. It's within our right as a football team, as a football club, to go and make those offers. You don't ask. Do you not
feel like you shouldn't be aiming for teams that are mid-table that are not playing in the Champions League and potentially trying to take the better players from those teams?
I think it's got to be
unless they're out of favour at the top teams and they're not playing.
This is what I'm saying. There's nothing, but that's the point. This is what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with West Ham going for
Yeah, I agree.
players from
Nothing wrong with the ambition. Showing the
nothing
ambition.
wrong with the ambition, but it's like you just have to be sensible, right?
Manage expectation. Yeah.
Zielinski's one of their best players, and when he's fit, he's playing. So one, Napoli won't really want to sell him, and two, if he does end up leaving, why would he go? Why would he take a step down?
No, but I feel like you look at it like this way, yeah. And I feel like there's so many clubs. You look at like the business that Villa do, yeah, or Newcastle do when they get these like the Brunos and players like that, and everyone's like, oh, how the fuck did they do that? Like, I feel like we need one of them.
Oh, Bruno Guimaraes, you mean?
Guimaraes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I feel like
I think the thing is though, Lawless, Bruno Guimaraes is looking at Newcastle at 24 years old, thinking, I know in 5 years' time they're going to be with one in a lot, because Man City did it, only took them along. Chelsea likewise. I think with West Ham, I'm not so sure that we know where they're going forward.
They make some of them statement. They've been making some of them statement signings.
But
again, I think money in it.
Money aren't even that good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't look at them and go, how they got him.
Carlos was really,
Diego Carlos.
We'll see how Kamara does.
What top team wanted to sign Diego Carlos?
None.
Yeah, but no top teams are trying to sign Zielinski either, though.
But I don't think he's for sale though. What I'm saying is, I think if Napoli knew that this guy wasn't going to stay, yeah. Or
they gave us permission to talk to him, so that's happy with our bid. So, but I'm saying I feel like we need.
You want a statement signing, don't you?
Yeah, I don't say need is probably a strong word, but I feel like it's something we could really do with one of those statement signings. Like, I think what I think you were saying, Matisse, about signing some of them mid-table players that are ready for a step up and can push you on and are ready to take the next step in their career. But like having that one player that just lifts the team, and when they're on the pitch, like everyone's there. I know we've got Rice, but ejecting someone else that's just fresh.
I think Premier League proven as well is massive in this league. I really do. You know, I look at. I'm not saying you're going to get him, but if you're looking at a midfielder that's got some goals in him, that's got good set pieces, somebody like James Ward-Prowse trying to tempt him away from Southampton, who, let's be honest, are not going to go anywhere. That type of player, for me, would be someone that might look at West Ham and go, yeah. So maybe this example is someone you can't get in terms of the price, but I'm looking at that kind of mid-table club that you look, mate. You go for everyone, apparently, mate. We're on it every week, and you tell me who you're going for every week. But I look at those players, and I think, oh, what's happening there? He's told us something. He's told us something. But you get my point, Lawless. I'm looking at players like him, and I'm thinking, what happened there, Matisse?
It's like Lawless kicked me out because I was about to go out.
I weren't trying to hear it.
Do you remember when he told us Scamacca would probably not be coming because of the tattoos?
No, that was a troll post. That was a troll.
See, you've got to double check your sources, because you be putting in some shit for West
People
Ham, and it's like
ex-employees.
David Moyes doesn't want Scamacca because his brother committed a crime way back when, in 10 years ago, in the mafia or whatever, and then he doesn't like tattoos or whatever, and then the next thing you know, he's signing for you. It's not making any sense.
To be fair, like seconds later, I came and said, "No, ignore that. That's a fake post."
You got to check your sources.
No, you did, man.
Why
To be fair,
if
though,
you've done your due diligence, you wouldn't have had to come back with a thingy saying, "Oh, apologies."
Well, I'm so used to people just doing the @ex-WHU employee and it being legit. I did, and this person followed me. I was like, okay, like, boom, and it's plausible. It was plausible. I could believe that. I was ready to get mad.
Is David Moyes that bad where you'd say that's actually plausible? That's not good.
Yeah, man.
No, some of the things like, but Dan,
you get what I mean, though, man. You get what I mean. Like they're the sort of players I look at and think, can as West Ham I tempt Ward-Prowse out of Southampton? If the answer is no, because he's going to cost a ridiculous amount of money, then you go for your next target around that. So you've got like the Crystal Palaces of this world, the Brightons of this world, even the players that. The teams that have come up from the Championship that perhaps would be able to be tempted to West Ham, Mitrovic as a striker, that kind of stuff. They're the sort of targets I would be going for, because I feel personally like they would be a lot more hungrier to go and prove themselves at a club like West Ham, who are in and around the European places, and have a chance of a trophy. Because let's be honest, West Ham this season probably have the best chance of a trophy in a long time, which is the European Conference League, in my opinion. Because obviously... last season, we joked about it for ages, Tobs and I and everyone, saying you were never going to win it. I obviously said you had a chance, and then it looked like at one stage it was going to be a chance, and then it fell flat on his face. Sorry,
We
Lawless,
still had
to
the
bring that up.
chance, though. We still had a chance. You
Here we
can't
go.
take that away.
But
So it was wrong.
but I tell you this now, you do have a chance of winning this, because look at the trash that's in that competition, man. So if you don't win that, then me and Tobes will come for you, man. Do you know what I mean?
Tobes is going to say we don't have a chance. Tobes can't come for me. Tobes cannot come for me if we don't win this competition. He'd even make it out of group stages. He has to be.
Who cares? We finished in the top 4. You think I give a shit?
Yeah, but I'm saying you can't banter me.
Do you think?
you cannot banter me? Okay.
Tobes is sitting at a different table now.
Fam,
He eats steak. Toby's sitting at a different table. Toby eats steak now.
Yeah, I'm eating steak I'm eating steak, and my team's being managed by Conte. You think I have time to care about you winning in that competition? I don't care.
But you can't. What I'm saying is, if we lose, don't sit here and go, yeah, you lose West Ham, blah blah blah. No,
if you lose, I'm gonna do the. If you lose, I'm gonna troll you the same way you would troll me if we get dumped out of the Champions League.
But you can't troll me because you did it. You didn't get far in it. Like you.
Why can't I?
You got the group stages.
Why can't I troll you?
Because if we get further than you did, if we go out in the group stage, you go, you made fun of me.
Brother,
but look at you. But if we get in the
final, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do in Europe that tops that. There's literally nothing you can do in Europe.
Was that like barely colour telly day?
I'm not gonna lie, that was potentially.
That seems like a lifetime ago.
That was potentially the pinnacle. I think Lawless knows that as well.
Exactly. We've been to a Champions League final, and every single time we've been in the Champions League, bar one season, we've made it to the knockouts. So there's nothing you can do in the Europa League or the European Conference League that tops that. So
winning it.
If you win the Europa Conference League, it gives you entry into the Europa League.
It don't matter. It's a trophy. It's a trophy.
You're right. It is a trophy, and a trophy is commendable. Yeah, that's why I wanted to win that cup. But in the grand scheme of things, the cup is not the be-all and end-all. So what if we didn't make the group stages? Okay, yeah, laugh at us momentarily, but we still finished top 4. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, if we get to the final and lose, I don't want to hear you saying, West Ham, you're shit.
Of course I am. I'm gonna say it because you would do the same thing. Why are we doing this? This is what rivals do. Of course I am. I'm gonna be on the neck.
I'm going to throw it in your face.
It'll be interesting. Are you excited about the before we move on to Arsenal? Are you excited about the Conference League? Because it is difficult for me personally to think of getting it. I respect the competition because it allows teams that maybe don't play in Europe often to get an opportunity to play in Europe. Although you guys have just come from the Europa League, so it's a little bit of a different perspective. Even though you're not always in Europe, of course, it's still a drop down. Is there an excitement of you going into that competition to try and win it? Are you excited by it, knowing that the reward is Europa League football?
Yeah, I'm more excited. I'm excited that it's obviously another opportunity into the Europa League. Say if we can't get top 6, I'm excited that it's an opportunity of a trophy. It's a new trophy, but when I see Roma after they won it and how buzzed they were and just the vibes, they never treated it like it was some pre-season trophy or a charity shield or something. They treat it like it was a proper trophy, and it takes that after season of people winning it. It's got to build a bit more prestige. Yeah. I would rather win this than the Carabao. To me, I look at this, and if you ask me this or the Carabao, I'm saying the Conference League. I would prefer to win that.
Really?
That makes sense. Because
I look at it like that. I'd rather have the Europa. I love the FA Cup, but the FA Cup's lost its luster.
Does the Carabao Cup not give you entrance to the Europa League?
But that's my point, right? So
yeah.
But it's European, it's
exactly
got that European.
That's the point he's making. If both things get you to the same destination, but one is sort of conquering the best of a specific group within Europe as opposed to conquering the best of a specific group in the UK, of course you're going to pick the one in Europe. So
you're not competing with drawing League 2 opposition, or these people had to finish somewhere in their respective leagues, right? To then go into this competition, and then you'll beat. Yeah, some of the leagues are suspect, but still at the end of the day, I feel even though it's new, it's got a little bit more weight than the Carabao. So to answer your question, I'm excited about the knockout stages. The group stages, even the Europa League, it was it's a bit of a slog. I don't enjoy group stages as a whole, but
Yeah.
I'm excited for the knockout stages, and I think like the later aspects, because when you do start facing the teams like the Napolis and the Romans, I know that some of it they aren't in it this year, but when you do start facing like some of those teams, then it gets exciting. But yeah, we've got a qualifier for it. We've got a qualifier coming up. What the fuck is that? Like, we don't go straight into the group stages. If we lose,
oh really? Oh god! Wow. Okay, let's hold off then. You're not even
did you
official.
have that? So you have to do this qualifier.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't know you had to qualify. What's all that about?
Yeah,
I thought you got it.
You do, because yeah. You have to. So you have to play. I can't remember the rules in terms of the teams that go straight through, but you have to play. We had to play a qualifier versus that team, Pacos, the Ferrero, whatever it was, and we lost.
Man, I would have just.
Ferrero Rocher. Yeah, we lost.
Oh, you lost the first. Yeah, it's a 2-leg thing as well. Like,
wow, they're really milking this one. Bloody hell.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. And then you got to play. You go into a group stage where you play 2 legs and against every team, and then see. You know,
I'd want to come out. No disrespect. I want to come out of it.
And if you
I'd be
finish,
coming out of it immediately. Not West Ham. Not West Ham.
Not West Ham, but
yeah.
If you finish second as well, if you finish second in that group, you have to play. You have to play a playoff game
against the Europa League dropouts.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it isn't it third place in the Europa League.
Me and Potts are just thinking about this and thinking.
But it's not much different apart from that
I couldn't
playoff.
do this, man.
No,
This
but
is long.
apart from the qualifier match, the playoff, it's the same as the Europa League. It operates and functions exactly the same, apart from this little qualifier thing. But the thing is, to me, when you look at it, it's a good opportunity to get other players some game time that maybe could do it. I know Spurs didn't have that.
They changed the format in the Europa League as well, though, to match it, right? So, like, the second place team in Europa League would have to play the team that drops out of the Champions League. For who gets to go into the knockout stage of the Europa.
Yeah, we skipped that because we topped our group, but the second place team. Yeah. So I had to put that in, but yeah, no. What I'm saying is, we can get. So say we sign some more players, and we want to give them time. Say Flynn Downs, we've just signed. He's not going to get in over Rice and Souček right away, or he's never getting over Rice as long as we have him. But he goes into that. We can put some experience, some youngsters, and give them European experience there. So I think it's a positive when you look at it that way. Like if you was in it, Dan, you're not sitting there going, right, Saka's gonna start and Partey's starting, and but it's vital experience there that you can give those players, and then those players that are more fringe players, you're keeping them happy because now you've got them for conference. You've got them for the Carabao. You've got them for the FA Cup, depending on what team you draw.
Bruv, if I'm West Ham, I mean this seriously. If I'm West Ham and if I'm a West Ham fan, I would just look at the league and go, do you know what? We ain't going to get top 4. In my opinion, ain't going to get top 4. I'm going to go for all the cups, domestic cups, and getting as deep as you can in the domestic cups and go for the Europa Conference League. Yeah, and people might think that's out of order because West Ham deserve more respect than that. But I honestly look at West Ham and I think if I'm telling you now, Lawless, you've got a chance of winning a trophy this season. Are you telling me, I still think we should be going for the top 4? You'd be like, give me that trophy. Surely. Give me that trophy. I don't care where we finish. If we finish 9th, 10th, I'll take that trophy. Surely, as a fan, you'd say that.
I would agree with that.
But you can't. Yeah, but the problem is you can't give me that trophy. Like, what I'm saying is, I would take the trophy, sure. But
it's not guaranteed.
Say we do what you say, right? We're going to rest all of our. Rice isn't going to touch Premier League. All these top players, we're going to rest for the league. We're going to go for all of these cups.
No, I get that. But I'm saying, do you feel though? Okay, so let me ask you this way: do you feel your squad is going to be? And I know there's anticipation-wise. This is what question about anticipation of what West Ham are going to do business-wise. But do you feel that you will have a squad come close to the window that you'll be able to compete in the league for a European place and win a trophy? I don't know that you will. I think you have to go for one of the eggs in the basket situation.
To be fair, look how close we was to that last season.
You was.
Europa League.
This is a World Cup year now. You've got a few players that will be participating in the World Cup. So
but here's the thing, and this is an interesting transition, right, to bring in other teams in, actually. This is something I was talking about the other day on when we did Friday Night Pint on our channel. I look at the other teams that are going in for Europe, right? Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, Man United, whatever.
Yeah.
The players that we're signing, the players we've got, I feel like I think we've actually got the least amount of players that are going to be unsettled by it. Even Scamacca. Obviously, Italy's not in the World Cup.
Yeah.
And so
I
I
see
think
what you
we're
mean.
going to be the least affected.
I
by
wondered where
the
you were
World
going with
Cup.
this, but I get it now.
Yeah, I feel
The
like
least,
we're
so you
going
think
to
you'll have the least effect, and you might
we're
be
going
able
to
to
be
Yeah,
least,
yeah,
claim
yeah.
some
least
points on that.
disrupted.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's
Fair
fair,
enough.
to
So
be
I
fair.
think
No,
that's
that is
going
fair.
to that's going to help. Like Rice is obviously going to go. Bowen obviously has been playing, but it's not guaranteed that he's going to go. We have to see what happens and how he performs in the league. I'm trying to think. I don't know if Ben Rama's going, or I mean he was out. I don't know if they're even in the World Cup.
Mm.
And
Absolutely.
I want to make it clear. I'm not telling you just go play the kids in the league, Premier League. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that. But what I'm saying is, I would prioritise a domestic cup or a particular the Europa Conference League thing, because that for me, if you can end your season, this coming season, winning that trophy, you're in Europe. So
Yeah.
if you're going to say, oh, we missed out by a point, but we come 8th. Or seventh, and we missed out in Europe. We're back in the Conference League. Surely you just rather win the trophy and get back into the Europa League. So,
yeah,
if if I said to you now, you're going to finish 11th flawless, it's going to be a shocker for you in terms of the league. But you're going to go to the deep stages of both the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup and win the Europa Conference League. You're going to take that 100%.
Yeah, it's just so sketchy. Like,
It's a
and you know
gamble.
this, like European football itself. Like, obviously, like Arsenal,
It's tough.
the amount of time where you feel like you should have won that
Yep.
Europa League. You look at Leicester. I feel like Leicester probably like they weren't doing nothing in the league, but they got to what semi-final.
Great example. Great example to
Yeah.
give. Yeah, that is a great example to give.
Yeah, it's because cup football, like you could be so good, but like on this one given day, something like either goes against you or your players just aren't on it, and like that's it, done. Like we had that, or like a moment of madness, like the Frankfurt situation. So that's why it's always sketchy. Like if we can maintain, I would be happy. Like if we could somehow finish 7th and then win this conference, which I think is possible because we finished 7th and got to the semi-final with the Europa League. I'm happy that I don't want to finish lower than 7th. I want to maintain our position
That's
as
fair enough. No, that is fair
team.
enough.
At the moment, we're best of the rest.
Yeah.
Like we're the best of the rest.
Until Newcastle arrive.
We'll see on Newcastle. We'll see on Newcastle. But listen, you should all be fearing that day. So you don't want that to come. Because, can you believe a West Ham fan told me that Arsenal are going to win the league in 2025? By the way.
Okay, so let's fantastic transition to Arsenal, right? Because there are some
before we do that, Zielinski's actually linked with AC Milan as well.
Oh, is he? Oh, right. Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
You had to get that in there.
Just wanted to get that in that final dig at Lawless, so you know the caliber of team going for Zielinski.
Yeah. He'll choose West Ham over Milan because obviously he wants to play in the Premier League.
It's gonna be his dream. Might be a big Premier League fan.
You know. And by the way, they're struggling to convince Filip Kostic as well, the same guy that they were doing think pieces on the weekend. There's rumors coming out that apparently it's down to the player to decide, and they're struggling to convince the player to join West Ham. And I'm not saying that might not change, but I'm just saying, all I'm saying is if it was so easy, why is there a struggle?
But if you look at it from Kostic's point of view, he's playing Champions League football this season. He's running out of contract next summer. Why would he? Yeah, so it makes more sense to maybe move on a free and see what your options are, in my opinion.
Apparently not. West Ham are one of the most desirable clubs in Europe, so obviously,
but struggling. Like where's the struggling
long term? He wants to tie himself down to them long term.
If he signs, then you're going in the mud again. You're going in the mud.
I'm not going in the mud.
You're going in the mud. I'm telling you, because what are you going to say?
I've not said once that it's impossible for West Ham to sign Kostic.
PSG wanted Scamacca. We got him. What are you saying?
PSG didn't really make a move for Scamacca. If they did, they would have signed him. What are you talking about?
But they did, and they did.
You just said PSG wanted Scamacca and couldn't get him, and it's not because he turned them down. It's because they didn't want to pay the money for him.
Don't add all of this little context. All that matters is PSG wanted Scamacca. West Ham.
Let's move on. This guy's a waffler, man.
Let's move on because I know I'm going to get complaints in the comments. Matisse, you spent too long on one team. You did. All right, so we're going to move on.
He's basically insinuating Scamacca turned down PSG, but accepted West
I
Ham.
was ready to move on, but Tobes' obsession with my team.
We're definitely not going to tell those lies because we all know PSG didn't want to meet the asking price.
Exactly.
So Lawless, you didn't watch the Arsenal Chelsea game. You obviously catched your Zeds.
I was following the fallout on Twitter. One goal after another from the Chelsea side and the Arsenal side, and I was just like, there is the it's just pre-season, and it is like, that's obviously important. But I'm just like, I was sitting there and I was looking like, damn, Chelsea, like it is worrying, like in terms of like we know what the likes of Werner and that, and I was hearing all the reports about Werner and how bad he was. And that there's no real move to get that and replace him and to get that proper like attack or replace Lukaku even. Like the transfer window is not going well for Chelsea, it seems. Like Barcelona are just snapping everything up. There was this beautiful, I don't know if you say, I wish I would have shared it, this beautiful post this Chelsea account made. And it was like listing all these players that Chelsea was getting over Barcelona.
Hilarious.
And then it was just the complete opposite. It was beautiful. And I'm just thinking like Chelsea need to seriously pull their finger out now, because if you go into the season with this team, yes, Raheem Sterling is a good signing, like, and is a quality player, but apart from that, like going forward, you know, I've
said it before. Like, if you look at Chelsea's, and this is why I wasn't getting sucked into the debate on the Big Six, and Toby would have seen it as well. The week before, it was Chelsea are going to struggle. This is my team to struggle. They're going to finish outside the top 4. And then now we made a couple signings. It was like, you should be going for the title. You're going to compete for the title. I was like, we're not going to compete for the title until I see more players coming through the door. And I wasn't going to get suckered into it. Because if you look at Chelsea's attack, because Sterling is not going to revolutionize Chelsea's
attack. You got generational Kai Havertz.
Oh yeah. Well, listen.
I don't get it. All these players are meant to be really good.
No.
I can't put expectations
because I have patience for these players to develop.
Guys, does that make sense to you?
Because I have patience for some of these players to develop, like you had patience for Ndombele. Remember Ndombele, who you're trying to now get rid of?
He's been a flop at Spurs.
Right. The same, and I heard you a couple of weeks ago talking about it. I don't know if you was with Fuad, and you were like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind if Ndombele would stay." As if Conte wouldn't mind using him, because I wouldn't mind to see what he does. All right,
a fifth choice.
Right. So there's nothing wrong with me having a little bit more patience for some of my young attackers to hopefully deliver on their promise.
How old is Werner now?
No, fuck Werner. You know I don't want Werner here. Don't play that game with me. You know I don't want Werner. I've been asking for Werner to leave this football club since the turn of the year. I don't want Werner. I do not.
I don't think you should hold your breath on Havertz, man.
Listen. Let me talk about Havertz, because Havertz against Arsenal was really poor. And my biggest frustration with Kai is that when he got into the box, we had an opportunity. I think this has been happening for the majority of pre-season. When he receives the ball in an opportunity to take a player on and go past them, he doesn't go past them. He just kind of he opens up his body and he just rolls it back and he just passes it back. And this is crazy, but I'm actually going to give some credit to Batshuayi. If you've seen the goal that Chelsea scored against, I think it was Charlotte, maybe, or was it Club America? One of those. The guys in the comments will remember. It's too late for me. Batshuayi taking that shot was deflected, ended up going to Pulisic, and then he scored. Now, not saying that, Batshuayi is good. He's not. I don't want Batshuayi here either. But I want players that are going to take a shot and at least going to take their man on as well, like Kai should be doing when he receives the ball. So the attack is really poor. In terms of the defense, we still need another defender. It looks like Koundé is going to go to Barcelona. We just need to bring in another defender. I'm happy with the quality that's been brought in. Koulibaly is a great defender. Everybody has been talking about Koulibaly. Saying that, I remember Grizz was trying to roll up, ruffle up some feathers, saying, he's too old, he can't play right side, etc. Koulibaly came in against Arsenal and was really good. Sterling was really good against Charlotte. But I want to talk about the Arsenal perspective as well, because Potts, you played some really good football. Like, it was quick, it was snappy, there was clear cohesion in the front three. Gabriel Jesus was linking up really well with Saka, with Odegaard, who had some nice flicks. You had Zinchenko as this inverted left back. He was tucking into central areas and he was brilliant. Even if Tierney's fit, he's gonna have to work his socks off to get back into the team, because if Zinchenko's playing in that inverted left back position, we've seen him play at City. He's a good player. It's not someone that's just going to just be benched immediately if Tierney's fit, or maybe that means he could play in the midfield instead of Xhaka as a left-sided midfielder. How are you feeling after watching the performance? Because you've had a good pre-season, to be fair.
Yeah, mate. We have had a good preseason, and the preseason has not really told me much that I didn't already know, other than a couple of not surprises, but probably pleasant players to watch, so to speak. Like, it's been good to watch with a couple of areas, which I'll come to in a minute. But what it has proved to me is what I already knew. Our first 11's absolutely fine, to be fair. It's our backup, which absolutely sucks. And yet again, it's proven in pre-season where we need to strengthen. And I think everybody that's neutral in football, everybody that watches the game will know where the positions are that we're still weak. And I think it's proved to be that. Now, what I don't want to happen, Matisse, is for us to still fall short come close of the window and still be 2 or 3 positions where the likes of Cedric and the likes of Lokonga El Neni, the likes of Eddie Nketiah, are all coming into the mix, because I still feel that those are the weak links in the side. What I will say, mate, is, and it wasn't just against Chelsea, it was against Everton in the first half, it was against Nuremberg in the second half. This first 11 does look half decent, and it's now got a style of play, and it's now scoring goals. Yeah? We struggled big time last season to score goals. We could not buy them for toffee in certain games, right? But we've scored 20 goals in 5 games. So for me, that proves that this team can score goals. And I think Gabriel Jesus has been a huge part of that. I think he's been a breath of fresh air from what I've seen. Not just the goals, the work rate, the intensity, the link-up play, the fact that he looks hungry. He looks like he's got a mentality. It looks already like he's been playing for us for a long, long time. He looks to have already connected with the players. When you see quite a lot of stuff off the pitch, he looks very, very happy in and around with some of the young players. Zinchenko, you're right. Kieran Tierney is going to have to come back in and prove that he can stay fit for one, which he struggled to do in the last 2 years, and prove that he's good enough to be our left back. Now, I do still think he's our best left back. I've got a lot of time for him. He's my favourite player, believe it or not, Kieran Tierney. When he's fit, I think he's so pivotal to the way that we play. And when he's off, that left-hand side looks awful. So for me, I think he's so important. But what I see from Zinchenko, his work rate, ability to understand the versatility of the side, I still feel that he's going to play a lot in midfield as well as left back. Brilliant cover as well for Kieran Tierney now, as opposed to Nuno Tavares. Very, very intelligent signing. But the one player that has impressed me more than anybody is Saliba. This guy was immense against you guys. Oh my God. And I saw him play against MK Dons, 2 years ago now? And I thought, first ever time I see him in an Arsenal shirt. And I couldn't compare, I couldn't really see what he was about, because it was against MK Dons. And it's the first ever game. But he had a style of play about him that I really liked, in terms of his distribution, his stature, his positioning, his discipline, lack of rash challenges for, at the time, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid. Now, this kid looks unreal, mate. I've seen enough of him in France now, and enough of him in the pre-season to be excited. And I can say that. I don't care that it's just pre-season. I can say this guy can defend. And I think now people are starting to say, what happens to so-and-so? What happens to Ben White? Well, who cares?
Who cares?
This is the first time that we have competition for places for the Highbury days, mate. So for me, good problems to have.
I hate when fans ask that question. Like when it's like an extra player that adds quality into your team. Oh, but where will he play? How are we gonna? I'm like, bro, these are good. This is what you want. These are good problems.
Like people can't pick up injuries and shit. Do you know what I mean?
And do you know what?
At the end of the day, you're in Europe as well.
What's mad, Tobs, is that people look at the cover and still in the certain positions that I've mentioned that we're still, I don't think, good enough. And they're saying that they are good enough. And they're saying to me, we don't need another right back. Yes, we do. Tomiyasu has proved that he's an injury-prone player, and Cedric is a clown. He's proven already last season that he's not good enough. So why would I want Cedric back in this team? They're talking about Ben White playing there. That's fine. But that then weakens you in another position. How about just go and buy another better right-back cover than Cedric? How about go and get a better defensive midfielder than El Neni and Lokonga? How about go and get a better second striker than Eddie Nketiah? And then, of course, people will say, nobody wants to sit on the bench come to Arsenal. Well, listen, we've got to try and allow that to be a worthwhile project of being a squad-rotated side with 5 subs, with 4 competitions. We're going to have to make that the reality.
Is that your only weakness, so to speak, where you feel like now is depth, where you feel like if you
100.
get injuries to certain players? Because Gabriel Jesus, everybody knows, I wanted him. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be quality for you guys. The dink finish over Mendy was wonderful.
Unbelievable.
The guy looks like as if he's so happy. He's so like happy to just finally be given some faith, some trust to be a leading marksman up front. He's the perfect age, perfect mentality. He's got the skill set. I think he's going to crack on fine. It's just whether you pick up injuries to certain players, again, like you did at the end of last season, have you got the depth and the cover? You have been building on it with Vieira and obviously Zinchenko, but you probably, like you said, you still need more, isn't it?
Well, the Tielemans deal, from what I'm being told, is also very heavily linked. Now, I don't know what that means to our midfield in terms of players going out, because we're not going to keep all of these. We've actually got a big squad. It's congested, but my God, some of it is trash. My God, same. Some of it is awful. Yeah, so we need a bit like Chelsea. You've got to get rid of some players.
Literally just like us.
Yeah, just later. See you later. Yeah, got to go. Yeah, and Spurs, to be fair, have probably got that as well. But when I look at it, Matisse, and our first 11, and this is why I was frustrated last season on the manager, not the players. Our first 11 was okay, but they failed to do anything in January to get any depth so that we could get top 4. Now, this summer, we need to do it, because you can't have another summer where we're still short. You can't have 2 transfer windows go by and you go, still need another one, because you've got to go and get it right. If you didn't do it in January, there's no excuses to not do it in summer window, right? So I look now and I think our first team's looking pretty decent. Turner, I have question marks over because I've only seen him a couple of times and he's looked quite shaky in my opinion. But Ramsdale's an okay goalkeeper. Tomiyasu's a good right back. Tierney's a good left back. Zinchenko's a good left back cover. But we haven't got a good right back cover, so that's an area of weakness. We've got decent centre back cover now because Saliba's coming, as we've just mentioned. We've got decent attacking options in midfield, which we've mentioned, but we probably are lacking one winger, depending on what happens with Pepe and the Marquinhos situation. But up top, we're still short. So that means that if Jesus gets a big injury, Eddie comes in. Not good enough. If Thomas Partey gets a big injury, like he has of the last couple, Lokonga comes in, shown he's not ready. Tomiyasu still can't keep fit and hasn't kicked a ball yet in pre-season. Cedric, not good enough. Rob Holding, for me, as a centre-back, not good enough. Proved it last season. So if we're using those players again, the El Nenis, the Holdings, to come in and do a job for a couple of games, I'm calm with it. But if they have an ACL injury and those players are coming in for 6 months of the season, that's where we've got a problem. So we now need to get those 3 or 4 positions I've just mentioned covered. Now, it looks like Tielemans could be an option. It looks like we're going to get a winger, whether it be a madness signing, like a huge marquee signing like a Leroy Sané, which I doubt, or a Cody Gakpo from PSV, which looks more realistic. That will probably happen. One of those will happen, right? Because we're going to buy Rafinha for a ridiculous amount of money from what people were saying. Or we at least had that amount of money to spend on him. So I expect that to go on another forward. Striker, I don't think we'll get one. Right back, I don't think we'll get one. And that, for me, leaves us short. Defensive midfield, I don't think we'll get one. Because Thomas Partey, Lokonga and El Neni are all there and look like they're staying, all 3 of them. So I think the Tielemans thing could happen. And it will be him and Granit Xhaka that go for the left 8 with Zinchenko. And that's good. That's really good squad cover. But I still feel... if Norton Cuffy isn't ready as a right back, we've got Cedric, and that ain't good enough. If Eddie Nketiah is doing what Eddie Nketiah was doing at the start of the last season, it ain't good enough. If he can continue and start developing and be the striker that people are now seeing in pre-season, that can, to be fair, he does look lively and I've got to give him credit. I've been harsh on the lad, I have, to be fair. But he's looking like he's wanting to be there, which is all I can give him credit for. But I still feel we're short. So for me, yeah, there's still a lot of work to do. Whether we're going to get it all done, Matisse, I don't know. So, but I have to say, man, it's been a good pre-season. We are looking stronger. And I don't feel personally, and everyone's going to laugh when I say this, that there's any more excuses for the management now. Because he is getting back yet again. We've already spent 150 million, I think it is. And we're looking like we're going to spend even more on Tielemans, Gakpo, etc. So it can't be any more. It's got to be another 200 million transfer window. And then there's Mikel Arteta, over to you.
Do you think, Dan... like, if this season, because he has to deliver Champions League football, do you think that enough of the fans will turn to put the pressure on to get him out, or do you think he'll still have this large core of support, or do you think there'll be a sort of a big shift in sort of like the Arteta out sort of movement?
The fans will not want him out if we get close to top 4 again. Now, I'm saying like I would. I think you all know I would. But I am in the minority. I am 100% in the minority.
You could get 5th again and go
people
out
will
of
be
the
fine.
Europa League. and
Yep.
he'll be safe. He'll be
Yeah,
comfortable. Wow.
I believe he would. Now, I don't think he should be, but I think the fan base is that deluded, in my opinion, that the majority of them will say that they can see progress because our team's better and because there's a connect with the fan base and because there's no more bad cultured players like Mesut Ozil's and Aubameyang's around and the Kroenkes are backing him and he just needs another window again. I can see that happening. I'm sorry, I can.
Fifth without Europe and fifth with Europe would be progress. That's what it will be.
There will be something. And do you know what else will come? And I've heard this already. And people will say, yeah, show me proof. I've seen it in WhatsApp groups. This will be a World Cup year which will disrupt the season. And this is the first time this has happened for Mikel Arteta. Same as COVID. It only happened with Arsenal. It didn't happen with anyone else. COVID was nothing for you guys. It was only for Mikel Arteta. I'm sick and tired of these excuses, bro. I hear it every single season from this fan base, and this is why I fall out of them, because I hate the fact that and people say, not everyone's going to agree with you. Not everyone's going to be in your opinion. Stop being so toxic. Listen, I'm pissed off that no one else thinks, and as frustrated as I am in the last 15 to 20 years at this club. And I want to see us going places. If I can see progress, I'll get behind it. If I can see us winning trophies, I'll get behind it. But I need to see the ambition to want to get back to the top, and it's taken so damn long that I don't want to see another 5 years of this. You know, when you get these deluded fans, one of them's messaged Lawless already saying that Arsenal are going to win the league in a couple of years' time. Listen, I hope that's right. I want this to go right. I don't want Mikel Arteta to fail. I've always said I've wanted it to go right. Why? Because it means I'm going to be celebrating a trophy at the end of the year. And so far, I haven't been able to get near a Premier League title, close to a Champions League qualification place, let alone get close to winning the trophy or getting to the final of it. And I need to start seeing that now. And I think that with Stan Kroenke, who I've always said I'm coming for, not Mikel Arteta this year, because he's shown me what he is. Stan Kroenke needs to tell me what he's going to be about if he's the owner of this club. And it needs to be the ambition to do what he's done at the Rams and in ice hockey and in God knows what over in America. And that's win stuff and that's win major honours. And if he can't do that, then everybody, in my opinion, should unite as a fan base to get the owners gone, because we do not want owners that accept mediocrity. And at the moment, in my opinion, the last 10 years, that's exactly what they've done, and that's exactly what the fan base have done, and that's accept mediocrity, that say that it's a progress because we finished 8th. I hate it, man. It winds me up. It winds me up, man.
I mean, I want to ask for Toby's thoughts on the game as well, just from a Chelsea perspective as well. Obviously, Arsenal played pretty well, but what would you say are Chelsea's biggest? Because I've spoken about it many a time on this channel, as from my own personal point of view. So it'd be good to get your perspective, a different point of view. What would you say is our biggest issue right now after watching that game? What was you most pissed off about if you didn't want to see Arsenal pick up such an emphatic win?
Many things, really. But as I said, it's annoying because I almost don't want to contradict myself, because I really don't think that result matters in terms of the gulf and class between Chelsea and Arsenal grand scheme of things. But one thing that you have to take from it is fitness levels and how committed the players are to the manager's style of play. And I felt like in Arsenal, you saw a team that had exactly a clear understanding of what they needed to do on the pitch, and they had the right amount of players to execute the manager's request. On Chelsea, I don't think it was the other way around. I mean, look at the back. Saliba, he looks an okay player. Like he's coming, he's deputized for Chelsea, but we've never seen him play in the back four regularly. And he looked spooky as fuck playing in the back four against Arsenal. Playing out from the back, he was erratic. Defensively, he just couldn't get close to Arsenal's players. On the left-hand side as well, I think you were playing Emerson, dead, just offering niche on that side. The midfield build-up was non-existent. Jorginho was the best passer of the lot on paper and couldn't really control the game. Couldn't get to grips with the game. I felt like Arsenal's pressed him quite well. Gallagher was just running around kicking people. You're playing next to Jorginho. You're meant to be someone who is also responsible for helping to progress the ball from midfield into the attack, and he did anything but progress. Mason Mount was just like a fish lost somewhere in the ocean. Like it just was so disjointed from the midfield. The attack is the attack. Timo Werner is a hot pile of trash for Chelsea. Like he looks like the Werner that we've seen the last 2 years. And whenever I watch Werner play, 90%, in fact, 80%, I tweeted this, 80% of the times I watch him play, I'm saying bad things about him because he's doing bad things on the football pitch.
Do you not think though, Tobes, if he gets in some amazing positions and fluffs his
Doesn't
lines,
matter.
like if he
Doesn't matter. It doesn't
no,
matter.
no, no. But what I'm saying, because I'm agreeing with you. I think he's trash. But when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking if you could finish, you so wouldn't be trash. Because
But you know what
the positions you get in, it's mad. It's mad.
But you know what it is though, Lawless? I don't think he's like I genuinely don't
Lawless,
think Timo Werner
used to
is
saying
good.
Lawless. Too used to saying Lawless.
Sorry.
That's what it is.
But I don't actually
I
think
wanted to correct him, but he's corrected me so many
sorry.
times. I thought, let me just leave it.
You know what it is? I don't actually think Timo Werner is like the worst player ever. I genuinely think a team that can cater to his strengths more, like Leipzig did, he can go there, or weaker league, he can go there and he can score some goals. But simply put, he just doesn't have the technical quality or the brain capacity to play at this level in the Premier League. He can't do it. He cannot.
I think you're right. Up there for me is an issue with.
Or better yet, Thomas Tuchel, whatever system that you want to employ, it does not. You can't get the best out of this guy because fundamentally, from a technical perspective, he's just not good enough. And the issues that we said that Chelsea had before last season ended, after last season ended, and now over the summer transfer window, we saw them laid out bare on the football pitch. Chelsea have needed this fourth midfielder for how long now? A year and a half. Someone who can actually not only help and patrol in the midfield, but can actually be progressive in their pass, more so than a Kovacic, more so than a Jorginho. They ain't had that in years. No, sorry, one sec, Pod. They ain't had that in years. The attack still stinks. I keep saying, like, people want to criticize Thomas Tuchel. Yeah, okay, he could potentially be getting more out of this attack, but when you actually watch some of these attackers play, they're not good enough.
Watch them.
They're not good enough. So they need to get rid of some of these attackers and bring in some top quality players. Defensively as well, they've lost Rudiger, who alongside Thiago Silva was their best defender, and they've lost Christensen. I didn't rate Christensen highly, but
Christensen was good for Barcelona against Real Madrid the other night.
I don't care, man. One thing you can say about Christensen is Chelsea at their best in that Champions League run, he was a mainstay in the team playing right centre back. They still haven't addressed right centre back. They still haven't addressed backup for Reece James. They still haven't addressed backup for Ben Chilwell. So all the issues that all the issues that we knew Chelsea needed to address before the season ended, they've not addressed them. So of course, when you see them play in preseason, of course they're not going to look like vintage Chelsea because there's gaps in their team and there's players. Obviously, there were players that didn't play. Chilwell didn't play. Kante didn't play. Kovacic didn't play. Koulibaly didn't start the game. So, like, you would expect that Chelsea at full strength in a competitive game will be way better than what they showed. Yeah, but the warning signs are there as far as their season is concerned in terms of the makeup of their squad. The squad is very bloated, but it doesn't really have many game changers.
Yeah, I've got to say, I want to ask you this, Matisse, right? Because I honestly believe now, I look around what Chelsea are competing with, and I don't see them as competing. I don't see any of us on this panel competing with Liverpool or City. So let's just stick with the other teams. I honestly believe Chelsea and Manchester United probably have quite a lot to do for the pure fact that I don't believe any part of your team is sorted or cemented. And what I mean by that is, if you look at Tottenham, they're sorted up top. They're completely sorted up top. And to be fair, they're probably sorted in midfield. And Tobes can correct me if he thinks I'm wrong. But they're probably sorted in midfield in terms of a first team, right? Arsenal's first team, I think, is sorted in a few positions now. I've already said I think our first 11 is pretty cool, right? Even West Ham Lawless will probably disagree, but I think they've got a couple of positions now, particularly with the Scamacca situation and in midfield, that they can say we're pretty sorted. Chelsea, I don't see in their first 11. I think maybe at fullback they're okay, but otherwise I think you need defenders. That midfield is nowhere near as strong as it should be for Chelsea, in my opinion. Strikers a joke, and then you've got Sterling, and then the rest of them. You're saying you don't rate Werner. It looks like.
I mean, Ziyech should really be going if he wants to.
Looks like he's going. Havertz, I'm sorry, bruv. I just don't get it with the Havertz thing. Bro, I just don't get it. I never have. I just don't get it, man.
Pots, like Havertz, the Havertz discourse is hilarious because when you watch him play at his best, you know that he looks a good player, but the price that they paid and what he's given them. And yet Chelsea fans will turn around to me and say, "Oh, well, he scored in the Champions League final. Okay, yeah, that's enough for him to then go on and score 8-9 goals, league goals in the league last year, play well 30% of the time." I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. And He's on my fraud watch list this season. Like Touchline Frackers, shout out Touchline. They do a thing every season where they say pick your top 3 players that you're gonna have an agenda on. And it may, if you thought I had an agenda on Kai Havertz before, you ain't seen nothing else. Oh, sorry, you ain't seen nothing yet in comparison to the season. Let me see another repeat of the season this guy had last year and the season this guy had the year before, and then try and tell me that this guy has been a good signing for Chelsea. He hasn't. When we spoke about Chelsea on the Big Six, Matisse, Chelsea's squad on paper is still stronger than Spurs, it's still stronger than Arsenal's, it's still stronger than Man United's. But what Chelsea also have are a bunch of players who look good but don't actually produce on a consistent basis. And Kai Havertz is one of them.
I'd agree with that.
I'd agree with that.
Kai Havertz is one of them. And he's someone who they need to see him step up dramatically this upcoming season. He's going to be a starter now.
Yeah.
Last season he had to contend with Lukaku for certain periods. The season before is his first season in the league, etc. You had COVID, injuries, etc. This is your 3rd year now, big man. You're 23, going 24 years old, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So something has to give now. Chelsea fans, and I don't know why I'm speaking to Chelsea fans.
I think that goes for him, for Hudson-Odoi, and for Pulisic.
Yeah,
all three of them. All three of them.
Pulisic as well. Yeah, 100.
Yeah, Pulisic's under big pressure as well.
You're right. Literally, copy and paste.
4th season.
Copy this and paste it for pretty much all of those attackers. And some of those midfielders as well. Like, enough is enough now. We need to stop rating these players based off what they should be doing or how they were before.
How much they cost or whatever.
Start rating them on what they're doing now. And what Kai Havertz is doing now, you cannot tell me that that's the level a quality player should be at. You can't tell me that that's the level a mainstay and a leading piece for Chelsea should be at. It's not, because if you're telling me that, then you don't know what the level. You're disrespecting the level that Chelsea have set over the last 15 years.
Do you agree, though, Matisse, that with obviously what Tobs said there, but 100%. What I was saying there's so much for you still to do. Do you know what I mean?
This is why I wanted Gabriel.
This is why you're saying you're not going to challenge for the title, and that's why I was fighting on it.
This is also
I'm
why
always going to fight you on that, because Chelsea should, with the money they spent, you should be fighting for the title.
I don't know, because after what we've lost, I don't really necessarily think that we've improved. When you take out Rudiger, you take out Christensen, you replace it with Koulibaly. I think Koulibaly is better than those 2 players, but obviously it's 1 for 2, and we still have to.
I don't think people haven't acknowledged though that.
We know you're.
Yeah, we have to get another centre back. But as of right now, when you're asking me, the team is definitely not stronger than it was last season. If anything,
the question isn't based. The question isn't based on right now. Right now, we know that, of course. But let's be real. Before the window closes, Chelsea are going to sign another centre back. We know that. Let's be
still
real.
Need more.
Chelsea are going to probably sign at least 1 more wing back.
Yeah.
Chelsea are probably going to sign another attacker, and if they're smart, they're gonna sign another midfielder. And
that's where I don't think they will. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a big issue, because I'm seeing Gallagher in that pivot, and I don't know.
To offload. When we spoke about Gallagher, was it on this show? And I said, just sell him. Just sell him.
I think we did.
I like Conor Gallagher, but just sell him.
West Ham. There you go, Lawless. West Ham. Conor Gallagher.
We don't
like Gallagher. I'll always stick up for Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, I like him. I
don't think he can be. And I think the max he can be at Chelsea is a bench man. And even off the bench, I don't look at Conor Gallagher for
as a
Chelsea,
game changer,
where they want to be, as someone who they can call upon to change the game. Nah, man, sell him and let him go play to a mid-table Premier League club, and he can be a really good player there.
I've said it many times. I'm not particularly hyped about him, halfly because I don't rate him as a talent as highly as other talents, but that's my own opinion. I don't think he's got that extra elite level to him. I don't think he's
had a good season last year, though.
Yeah, he had a good season. I don't think he's Mason Mount level yet, and that would be a similar type player to him. But he could still develop. My biggest issue, though, with him right now is actually more the way Tuchel is using him, as I've seen so far. Tuchel's used him in a double pivot. Now, I'm going to let it pass and say that it's maybe because Kante and Loftus-Cheek are not here. But my God, do not use him in a double pivot in the season, because you just saw him at Palace play 10 and play advanced 8 in a 3, where he could get into attacking positions, get goals, counter press, suffocate, do what he wants to do to get in the box in the final third and get goals and be an impact. And then you put him in a double pivot, and one of 2 things are going to happen. Either you're going to stifle him and he's not going to be anywhere near as impactful because he's not an elite passer. He doesn't help us in build-up play. He's not going to make us any stronger in that sense. So you're just going to turn him into this road runner who just intercepts and tackles and just runs around
And the
does
Herrera.
whatever. Yeah, and the Herrera. Or he's going to go too far, venture too far forward and leave gaping holes in the midfield, and the midfield's going to be imbalanced. One of those two things are going to happen. Both of those things I don't like. So I'm actually less on about Gallagher because he could still improve and get better. He seems to be a hardworking, humble guy. He knows his own weaknesses. He's mentioned them before. But if you're going to misuse him and play him in a pivot, then I'm not understanding. And people talk about why do you go on about Billy Gilmour? Listen, Billy Gilmour could end up being a very good player at a top level, or you could end up being a mid-table player. But at least Billy Gilmour actually plays in the position that you have on the pitch, which is double pivot, which is where he's played for Scotland.
Billy Gilmour right now suits Chelsea way more than Conor Gallagher.
Yeah,
and Billy Gilmour is another one that I don't think he'll cut it long term at Chelsea. But I like Billy Gilmour, and he actually plays like a midfielder.
Yeah,
he can actually pass the ball. He can sort of beat the press. With Conor Gallagher, like his game is all about energy. It's all about high energy pressing and making runs into the box and trying to link up with the attack. And from what it looks like, Conor Gallagher, the best role he could play at Chelsea is the most advanced of a 3-man midfield, and he doesn't do that role anywhere near as good as Mason Mount. He doesn't create. He's not good on set pieces like Mount. He doesn't score. He's not as good a shooter with either feet as Mason Mount. So he's not even as good as passer as Mason Mount. So really, where is his role long term at Chelsea?
But this is what confuses me about Tuchel. Is I feel like Tuchel is almost too nice because he also wants to keep Loftus-Cheek. He wants to keep Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek is also an advanced 8 that needs to play in a 3, that needs to carry the ball. How many of
these do you want to keep? In a couple of years' time, we'll be talking about Ruben Loftus-Cheek the way we're talking about Ross Barkley now. And I read an article today about it's like a £180 million conundrum for Chelsea. They've got so many players in this team, and it's not even like these players are awful players, but they're players that are just not good enough for Chelsea. And yet they keep getting retained. Batshuayi is still there. Emerson Palmieri is still there. Ross Barkley is still there. Now you're telling me Conor Gallagher, because he's an academy boy, oh yeah, we got a proper... He's not good enough. He's not good enough to play for Chelsea, to start for Chelsea. Doesn't mean he's not a good player, because he is on his day, but he's a good player for a team that are just not on Chelsea's level now. Simple.
I say he's at a West Ham level, I'd say.
I'm saying I could see him play well at a club like West Ham. I could see him play well at a club like Newcastle. I could see him play well at a club like Brighton, Everton, Southampton. I can see him play Palace again. I can see him play well at any of these clubs where they give him a similar role to what Vieira gave him at Crystal Palace. But it's capped. And I feel like Chelsea, we've seen what Chelsea needs right now in their midfield. Gallagher is not the solution. Chelsea needs someone who can move this ball at speed and can actually break lines, whether it's with their passing or with their dribbling. Gallagher doesn't do any of these things. Yeah.
It's insane to me. But listen, it's his decision, and we'll see what his plan is. But that is my biggest issue right now, is the misprofiling of the player and not really using him to his strengths. And the same can be applied for Hudson-Odoi, maybe, who's playing wing back against Arsenal. Why play him at wing back? You either go and get a real wing back and play Hudson-Odoi actually in the front 3 so we can see what he's on, or get rid of him and go and get a real wing back that you're going to actually play out there. There's a lot of players that are playing out of position right now, and it doesn't really make any sense. And he says he doesn't want, and also when he speaks about Gallagher, if you see the quotes, every time he mentions Gallagher's name, it's always hard work, heart, desire. He never mentions technical ability, and that worries me. He never mentions technical ability, but we'll get onto that in a minute.
Yeah, also, sorry, I know you wanted to wrap up as well, but just my final point on this with Chelsea as well. Yeah, my final point on Gallagher too. I've literally just lost my train of thought now, but I just think at this stage now, it's why I'm targeting third with
you should. I've said it. Right now, I'm predicting you to finish third ahead of us, 100%.
Because I don't think it's set in stone. I don't think it's set in stone. I don't think that we're all of a sudden a better side than Chelsea. But I just look at the makeup of your team, and whilst numerically you have the edge over us, and on paper you have the edge over us, I just look at Chelsea and I feel like, we could still get at you. We can still get at you. And over the course of the season, maybe with our manager, we can pip you. And that should be a worry to you.
Yeah,
with all
it
the
is.
money that you spent in your team, that should be a worry to you. That I think this.
I honestly don't think I've got to go in a minute, Matisse, but I honestly don't think. Just lastly, man, I honestly don't think. Like Tobes says that Chelsea's squad is much better than the Spurs squad. I don't think it's much better. I don't think there's that. I don't think there's that much between.
Do you know what it is about Spurs? Is they'll use their players in the right position that will 100% amplify their strengths and make sure that they're playing at their optimum level. Whereas us, we still have players that play in different formations, different systems. We haven't cleared out the players that don't fit. We haven't cleared out the players that don't want to be here. He keeps mentioning that he's got players that don't want to be here. And a lot of them were playing against Arsenal, whether it be Ziyech, whether it be Alonso, whether it be Azpilicueta. And if you're not going to, and I know he's in a role that he doesn't want to be in as DOF. So this is why I'm not really blaming him, so to speak, because he's doing something that shouldn't really be doing. We should have a DOF, but we don't have one. But whoever is in charge of sales, we need to be, and it's not going to be him. We need to be very ruthless with who we get rid of in the next couple of weeks. And I'm talking about actually cancelling contracts now, because you just can't have this many players in the squad that don't have any real impact on the proceedings.
Tuchel was pissed as well, man. That interview, he was pissed.
He just got too many people to
Rightly
work.
so. Rightly so.
It's a clustered workplace.
He said we look like a team full of players who are considering their options and probably want to leave the club, so they weren't willing to put the 100% on the pitch. And I think he's fair. Listen, there's a lot of pressure on Thomas Tuchel this season. Like, you need to sort that attack. You need to find. I didn't get why he played a 4-3-3 as well against Arsenal. I didn't really understand that. How many times he played that in comparison to the 3-4-3? I didn't get why he did that. But
I think he said Koulibaly could only do 25 minutes, so he had to go
fair.
two
But
defenders.
one thing is certain. Like, you need to clear out your deadwood. You've got a lot of deadwood in that team. You need to clear them out. Like, get rid of them. And it's crazy the breath of fresh air that you'll have if you got rid of 3 of your midfielders now and replaced them with one quality midfielder. You'll see the dramatic improvement.
That's the thing. That's the thing, though, because I think we talk about how much money they've spent, but how much of it really was spent by Tuchel, and how many players are Tuchel players? I feel like he's still got this hangover from Lampard. He needs to clear him out and get more of his own players in, so he can mold that team fully in his image. Because it still don't feel like a Tuchel team.
It's a cluster of everybody's team. The issue is that these players are on high wages. They're overpaid. They're overvalued, and they're hard to clear out because nobody really wants them. But listen, we're gonna wrap up because we got another friendly to play on Friday. I'm sure you guys still got at least one more preseason or maybe 2 preseason friendlies before the season kicks off in 2 weeks from now. So we're almost back, guys, for London Clubs Carnage when the season's kicked off and the points are going on the board, and that's when it really matters. But yeah, listen, Potts, let them know where to find you, bro. Pleasure.
Cheers, my guy. Listen, you come and follow me on social media at DanArsenal87. And if you can come and give us a subscribe to my new channel, that would be amazing. Football's 12th Man podcast on YouTube. I think the link is in the description if Matisse puts them all in. So cheers for that, guys. Thank you, Matisse. And cheers, boys. Always a pleasure.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Lawless, let them know where to find you, bro.
Yep, at the Lawless on Twitter. Come and tweet me, follow me there, chat to me about football, all of them things. See some real good takes, unlike Tobes' Twitter. Don't worry about his Twitter. Come see the good takes. And West Ham Fan TV, got watch-alongs, reviews, fan cams, all of them things.
There you go. And Tobes, let them know where to find you, bro. Feel free to bite back.
TapinTobs on all socials for actual fair and thought-based opinions and some funny agendas if you don't want the fact-based opinions as well. If you want some good agendas, come to my channel as well. If you want to also see me rubbish some shocking West Ham takes, come to my channel as well. So yeah, that's it. I got a stream. Actually, no, it's fine.
You ain't got a stream?
No, I got a stream, but it's today, and obviously it's gonna be out.
Oh yeah, by the time this comes out, yeah. Well, listen, make sure you go and check that out. It would have already been up by the time this goes out. But yeah, big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.